What's good, everybody? It's your boy Server Error 405. This is the Final Four Sports program, and I obviously can't do it by myself. And today your eyes aren't deceiving you. There's only three of us today, but we have so much sports knowledge. It's almost like fucking we're like four people. You know what I mean? That's how you're gonna walk away from this
Damn
discussion,
right.
feeling like you talked to four people. And who knows? Maybe we might have the Final Four fourth member popping in here, running a little bit late today, but we'll do what we can. Of course, I can't do it by myself. We got two outstanding gentlemen here. First off, we have Puma's number one sponsor. We got Bray Dollars. What's good, Bray?
Hey, man, Puma, comfortable, man. You want comfortability? Get some Pumas. I'm telling you.
That looks very comfortable, actually.
Yes.
And finally, we got the man who's wearing those Versaces. I don't know if they're Versaces or not, but we got our good friend, Vondre. What's good, buddy?
What's happening, big dog? I'm back in action. Missed 2 weeks, but I'm back.
Brian, welcome back. We're glad to have you. And we're going to start off talking about some the championships. We've got a couple of championships going on. We got the Stanley Cup. Florida leading Edmonton 2-1 after being down 1-0 in the series. And then we got the big NBA championship matchup, Indiana and New York. And let's just start with the hockey first. We're not all big.
Indiana and OKC. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you corrected me. OKC. I still got New York on my mind. I
I
still
know
got.
it's hard.
I was hoping to see New York in there. I was hoping to see New York in there, but or maybe just Indiana, New York. They just say, you know what? Let's put this fucking series in the championship. Fuck OKC.
Facts.
Fuck them. Let's just change the rules up. But yeah. So we'll start with some Stanley Cup talk. We're not sitting here saying that we're the greatest hockey analysis that you'll ever hear, but we're just gonna tell you what we know. Fondre may or may not have watched any of the Stanley Cup, but it's been a pretty good series so far. I predicted Edmonton to win it. I think you guys picked Florida or Florida to win it, and now they're showing why they're doing what they're doing all year and last year, going back to back. Bray, what do you think about the series so far?
Game one was phenomenal. Game two was pretty good as well. And then game three, Florida said, "We're here." Florida basically woke up and said, we're running it back. I think they won, what, 6-1 the other night?
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, just absolutely just dominated them from start to finish. And they obviously are the best team on the floor.
Yeah. And the thing is that I always say Edmonton can't die. No matter what the score is. And I even felt that watching the game. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 4-1 or 5-1. I felt like Edmonton was going to come back, but they didn't. They got fucking handled. And I don't know who said it. It was an NHL player who's like an analysis now, said that they just gave up, basically. Edmonton gave up. They didn't really believe. They had no heart, basically, because you got to have heart. You got to have a lot of heart when you play. Do you see that, Bray? Do you think that they've kind of maybe they're second guessing themselves? They're like, hey, we were up 1-0, and now we're facing a great Florida team.
I hope not, because it's still 2-1. You win the next game, it's 2-2, and then you play your game. But if you're out of it now and you're down 2-1, just you are obviously being prepared to pack it up in five, which you shouldn't. You worked your asses off to get to that point. It's 2-1. It's not even. It's far from a done series. There's so much more hockey to be played between those two teams. I think, like you said, Edmonton doesn't die. I don't believe that they're all done quite yet.
No, all they have to do is just steal one in Florida. You know what I mean, and just keep it going. You know what I mean. It's only 2-1. It's still early, but
Right.
in hockey, being up 3-1 is still it's happened a lot of times. I feel like it's happened more in the NHL than it's happened like in NBA or baseball, like teams coming back from big deficits.
Oh yeah.
Dre, have you caught any of the Stanley Cup at all? Or?
Unfortunately, no, because I just got done working 107 hours in the past 2 weeks, so I have not.
All right, now that you're going to have a little bit of free time, are you going to check any of it out?
Yeah, I'm actually on vacation right now, so I think I might check a game out or two.
Okay. See, I think the one thing watching hockey, and I mentioned this before in the podcast, that it's the easiest sport to watch because it goes very quickly. There's not like timeouts like you would in any other sport. baseball not included, just mainly like football and basketball. You get the hockey timeouts towards the end of the game when they're trying to, maybe pull the goalie, just different strategies. You make sure you have the right people on the floor, your correct line on the floor, but you don't get it during the game. So it's very, very, very quickly. Like the 20 minutes is literally 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Every now and then you get a commercial break in there, but it's really easy to watch. So for people who are really good, big hockey fans, I recommend catching a game. And it's also good to go to the game. Bring a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I heard going is like popping. It's crazy.
Oh, it is. Like
yeah.
especially if it's a team you fuck with. Like I've been to a lot of Kings games, and when they score, bro, like, and the fucking horn goes off and the crowd just reacts at the same time, it's really fun. It's a good time. Probably my favorite next to like going to like minor league hockey games. I love minor league minor league baseball games. I apologize. So I mean, I'm still sticking with my pick, Edmonton. I hope Florida wins because I hate Edmonton. They're like the Chiefs and the Raiders to me because I'm a Kings fan. But yeah, I'm hoping they win. All right, so moving on, NBA, the championship. It's been a fair series. The ratings haven't really shown that the fans are really going for it. But to be fair, it's not like big market teams.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? OKC, Indiana, it's not really going to move the needle. So the people who aren't like into ball, they're not going to really care too much to watch them. Now, if it was the Lakers and the Knicks, Boston and
Celtics,
LA, you know what I mean? Like those big market cities. So I'll start with you on this one, Dre. Couple things. One, what do you think of the series? And do you think this is always going to be a trend with NBA fans when you have two good teams, two solid teams, but they're from a smaller market, not getting the love that they should? Do you think that's always going to be a thing, or do you think maybe that could help? So,
I hope over time it transitions to the point where like you can look at the smaller market teams and be like, yo, like they're powerhouses too, because like OKC is a really small market, but they dominate every year. They've been dominating the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Number one, number two, you know what I'm saying? So like the series right now, I think OKC's pulling it now because I think Halliburton's got to come out the gate faster. He can't wait until the end of the game to start pulling his antics out. He's got to come out the gate firing, getting his team fired on all cylinders from the jump. You can't pull those late game heroics every single game and hope to win the NBA Finals against Shea, who's going out there dropping 34, 38 every single game, and there's nothing you could do about it. He has to come out the gate more, get his team involved early, get them shots going, and go crazy from the jump. If not, you're going to lose the series because Shea's going to go out there and have a field day with you.
Yeah. Right. What do you think?
Piggybacking off what Noah just said, no, I was literally going to bring that point up because I was watching, it was either Get Up or First Take the other day. They had Windhurst on there, and he said the exact same thing. This Pacers run is going to be dictated by how Tyrese Halliburton can come out and start the game. That's how they beat the Knicks. Empathetically, that's how they beat them. Tyrese came out the gate hot, and he stayed hot the whole game. That's what they're going to have to do to beat OKC. They have the supporting cast too: Naismith, Nembhard.
Yes, I wanted to touch on that, dude. Their supporting cast is so good, bro. T.J. McConnell, Obi Toppin coming off the bench, Benedict McThurin, bro. They're all so good, but it's all dictating how Halliburton plays. If he can't get it going, I don't think that they win any more games. That's just me.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. But then, like, to the small market teams, I think people have to. Like, you're going to have to acknowledge that these small market teams exist. Think of the teams that were in the playoffs that had, like, decent runs or had, like, just good games in general. The Pistons, small market. The Cavs, small market. Pacers, the Timberwolves. All these small market teams, the Thunder, I'd consider the Nuggets still a small market, to be honest, because they're just not in that range.
You can.
The major market.
Yeah.
Like they're just like most of your top seeds, even the Rockets. Nobody was talking about the Rockets really. Like all your top seeds ended up being these small market teams. I think at some point, like the fans are gonna have to realize that it's not gonna be, Golden State and the Celtics every year. That's just not what it's gonna be every year.
Yeah. I think it's hard because earlier in the year, and we talked about this before, that, a lot of fans were talking about why the NBA is bad. And they would have all these examples on Twitter, like, here's why it's bad, exhibit 1,000, whatever. So I think people already have that in their mind to just like hate on the NBA more. I don't know if it's because they hate the commissioner so much. I don't know if it's just because they're so used to seeing like their favorites, guys who are
Oh
in
yeah.
their like 30s and 40s, and even old heads like me, 50 years old, not used to seeing like these new guys,
Yeah.
that are just taking over and they're the future of the NBA. So they don't really know how to handle them, or just the teams like Indiana and OKC. I mean, they're good, solid teams. Like they have every right to be where they're at.
Hmm.
And for people to expect the Lakers to always be good, or the Celtics are normally always good,
Yeah.
so it's
Oh, for
fair.
sure.
Plus, they're in the East, so the East is always kind of like up and down, kind of like you don't have to do too much to make the playoffs, even the way they change it. But the West, like Minnesota, is a very good team, and Minnesota is not a great big market. So it's like when you look at all the teams, how many big market teams do they really have in the NBA? There's probably less.
Uh,
In
you probably have. Honestly, I think there's maybe two in each conference. That's the Lakers and the Warriors in the West, and the Knicks and the Celtics in the East.
Yeah, as I say, Knicks, Celtics for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's like obviously, when you look through the championships, I mean, like Chicago. I mean, obviously Chicago's going to
Yeah.
be up there too. There's big cities, but there's more smaller markets in the NBA than there is in fucking. I don't know. I just feel like people should just get over it because the series is fine. You're watching a superstar in the making, even though guys like Stephen A. Smith or whatever just will shit on him. But this is like memorable finals things that Ty is fucking doing right now. Like it's
100%.
insane.
This
Like
his playoff run is going to be talked about. This
Dude,
playoff
I'm,
run.
I'm,
yeah,
I'm advocating, bro, because I'm skinny. He bringing skinny niggas back. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm good with it, bro. I'm cool with it. He's balling.
yeah.
See, that's why I support Jokic so much. I'm a bigger guy, bro. That's why we got to rock with Jokic. The big guys rock with
Yeah,
Jokic.
you gotta rock with what you rock with. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yep.
skinny, man. Halliburton doing it.
I think like Ray said, I 100% agree. Like what he's been doing in the entire playoffs is legendary. Like we talk about like singular seasons. You mentioned this in the Discord server the other day, Bray, about singular seasons, and we talk about
Mhm.
Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Right now, Ty is having that singular season right now that people will look back.
Mhm.
Hey, this year, fucking 2025, Halliburton was doing this shit and just went crazy in the playoffs. He's fucking got a new nickname now. Like he's like how Ray Allen would be in the playoffs. Just
Oh,
fucking
dude.
clutch. You need that corner three to win the game. You need big shot Rob to fucking for the Lakers to fucking beat fucking San Antonio. Like all these great plays in the playoffs and in the finals. Like this is going to be like one of those legendary things. And I think people are so focused on the small markets, they're missing like legendary shit right now.
So I came across something the other day, and it was I don't know if you remember who Brendan Haywood was, played for the
Yeah,
Dallas Mavericks,
yeah.
Washington Wizards. They were talking about who had the greatest playoff run in NBA history.
Mm.
And he said Dirk Nowitzki in 2011. And I took a second to really think, right? He went down the list of who he beat in that entire playoff run, right? Beats Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge first round, 4-2. Goes and sweeps Kobe and Powell off of an NBA championship.
Don't
He
remind
sweeps
me.
them.
Don't remind me.
Then he goes and sweeps OKC, Russ, Harden, KD, and
Uh,
then he gets Bron, Bosch, and Wade out of there 4-1. Is Dirk's playoff run the greatest ever? Like ever?
I
I
mean,
mean,
you still got 2016 LeBron when he came back down 3-1. I'm just saying.
Well, I feel like that was the only series he struggled in. I feel like he
yeah.
dogged everybody, even us. He dogged us.
Yeah.
I think the opposite is like, even though that was great for LeBron, like Dirk was cooking the entire
Yo,
time.
like
Like he didn't go from
everybody.
behind. Yeah, he didn't pause, by the way. He didn't come back from behind. I caught myself on that one. But yeah, he was solid the entire way, so there was never a point where like Dallas was in danger of getting eliminated.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
cooked the entire time. So even what Braun did was fucking fantastic. Yeah, I mean that's kind of hard to. I never
Hard
really
to,
broke down
Oh,
like individual players like that.
hard to knock it.
I
Yeah,
mean, like the only people that you can say like greatest playoff run, it might have been like Mike's 95, 96 team where he like damn near only lost like 2 games in the entire playoff series. that
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
I think Kobe and Shaq did that one year when they
They did so. All right, so
yeah.
that was
and then
2000 2001. They lost to the
yeah,
Sixers game
yeah,
one.
yeah, they lost a
Yeah,
game to the
that
That was
was
their
the
Sixers.
only
only
one
game that
we.
they lost.
Yeah, we cooked that. Yeah, that was a good
Bro,
one.
y'all had won 15-0 before that joint, bro. I was like,
Yeah,
this,
we
And
Blake,
yeah.
man, take me back.
and that's crazy because West wasn't nothing to look down upon back then either.
No, bro, they
No.
had to go to the Kings, Spurs,
Hmm.
Trailblazers, and they wasn't no badass teams, bro. Weber, Vlade
No,
Divac, and all of them. Nah, they was stacked
bro.
teams.
One of my favorite all time like playoffs for as a Laker fan was when we would play the Kings during that time.
No,
Those
those are good
games,
matchups.
those games were fucking outstanding. Every
Yeah, those
game.
were good matchups.
I remember going to the fucking bar and just watching it and everyone just going crazy because it was back and forth, 3-pointers, just fucking like that Sacramento Kings team. They had like what Don Bibby too? Wasn't Don Bibby on that team?
They had Bibby, Christie, Vlade Divac,
Vlade,
Peja
yeah.
Stojakovic, and C
Yeah.
Webb. And then I think they had Bobby Jackson coming off the bench
Yes,
too.
that's right. Bobby Jackson. I remember.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
Oh
remember that
man.
squad.
That team was fucking tough, but we beat them.
And then you had to go through Portland, who had you had fucking Rasheed Wallace, you had
Yep.
Sabonis,
Hmm.
You had an old Scottie Pippen,
Yeah, but
Steve
he was
Smith,
still doing all right though.
and I can't remember who the point guard was. I want to say Damon Stoudemire, but I might be wrong. I
No,
might.
I think it was Stoudemire. I think it was Stoudemire.
It is. You gotta go through them teams. And then I'm not saying that the Lakers had any bad players, but I think Rick Fox was overrated as shit,
Yeah,
bro.
he
So
was.
it
Yeah,
was
he
just Shaq
was.
and Kobe out there playing with Derek Fisher. That's just
Hey,
me.
we had Big Shot Rob though. Don't forget about Big
He
Shot
did come in
Rob.
clutch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Did come in clutch.
and I love Fish. You know, we had definitely a tough road back then, and I think
Hell
like,
yeah.
and I think a lot of like the newer fans they don't really watch a lot of. I think they kind of do in that era. That era is kind of still
I
like,
mean, it's hard
the,
not to, bro.
yeah,
Hard not to.
it was so good then. You know, it's not like going back to watch when Jordan played because even like with Jordan, even the championships, like when he first won, like he struggled because he never could get past Detroit. He never could get
yeah.
Hmm.
past, like he never could get there. And then when he finally did, he ended up playing the Lakers in the finals and beat us. You know, that was sad, but you know, it's still like I don't know, like even like with his runs, like later on during the three-peat stuff, like he was great. But when you talk about how great Dirk was, like during that run, it's hard to really say did Jordan ever do something like that without being, you
No,
know,
I
just
don't.
straight up. Like it took Shaq and Kobe to do that. Like one without the other, was just you could see, you know, like Shaq in Boston. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just Kobe
Like
and
Dirk went out there with all of those old, like they're all old. Like none of them are
yeah,
in their prime. Sean Marion was old.
yeah,
Jason Terry's old. Jason Kidd's old.
His
yeah.
Brendan
best
Haywood's old.
his
You know
best
what I'm saying?
supporting
Like everybody's old.
What'd you
his
say,
best
bro?
supporting cast would have probably been Tyson Chandler.
I was
His
gonna
best
say
supporting
Tyson
cast.
Chandler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
Tyson Chandler would have been his best supporting cast. He won Defensive Player of the Year that year. I'm pretty
And
sure.
then he went to the Olympics the next year and got the gold medal.
yep. That was a good time for basketball too. That's the shit that I miss.
Yeah.
Outside of like the old '90s, like bad boy stuff, like where they were fighting and shit on the court. I do like that, like later on, like the early 2000s, and just it was like people were just playing, like it was so good. And I hope it gets back to that, you know. But I think this
Dude,
series is showing
I
could
just
be.
remember like the late 2000s, bro, where it was LeBron on the Cavs and D Wade on the Heat, Dwight Howard on the Magic. When those teams are fighting against like the Celtics and the Pacers, and they're all like, bro, those were like such good playoff matchups, such
Yeah,
good playoff matchups, man.
that's
Miss that
why
shit.
that's why I like the Indiana New York. Like it brings me back because like there's certain games that I'll watch like for NBA, even if
Yeah,
it's not a Laker game. Like I'll watch like usually like New York against Boston. You know, sometimes I'll watch like, you
yeah,
know, usually like if it's a Celtic team against like just one of the teams that were like arch rivals, you know what I mean, through the years, besides us. You know, like same with the Lakers, like I'll always watch like games that, you know, really mattered or meant something to me, even if the other team sucks or if the Lakers suck or whatever. But but yeah, I miss the older days. Hopefully it can come to that where fans will back it, you know, and not just have WNBA like kind of taking over with Caitlin Clark, you know, like more people are talking
yeah.
about like
They're
Caitlin
letting them take
Clark.
over.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'm excited. When's the next game? Is it tonight or tomorrow for NBA?
I think it's tonight.
I think it's tonight. Yeah.
I think
I
it's
feel like it
tonight.
should be tonight because
Because the
it's
last
been,
game was what, Sunday? So it's like four. I think it's like 4 days they take off. So I think
Yeah,
today's the
three.
day,
Yeah, today's. I think
yeah.
today's the night. Yeah.
So yeah, so looking forward to that.
and it's in Indiana. You know.
This is it's a big game. The next game is a big game. I think that Indiana needs they need a victory, obviously, but I think they need a statement victory. It shouldn't be a come from behind,
Oh,
you know,
100%.
like
Yeah.
another tie bailout, you know, which he's done it
Can't.
every time. You know, he needs
can't.
I agree with what you both said. He needs to just play solid the whole time. He can't
Yes.
just rely on that at the
if
end.
if he doesn't come out the gate fast tonight and get to like the buckets like early, if he doesn't come out and get the team electric early, and OKC pulls away and wins tonight, I think the series is over. That's
Yeah,
just me.
you can't have. Me and my dad were talking about this. And it was kind of like a funny picture I saw. It's like Tyrese Halliburton's either going to give you like a 20-point double double, maybe even a triple double, or he's going to have 5 points.
Yes,
Like,
that. Oh,
Yeah.
And like that, if that's what it can't be. It can't be halftime, and Tyrese has like 2 to 5 points, and he's 1% from shooting.
you got to
If
go out there.
that-
You got to go out there and force some shit. At least, like as the leader of the team, you got to go out there and force some shit.
Because
Motivate
that's how. Yeah, that's how
motivate the people
windows
around
get
you.
open. Yeah, that's how your windows get open to create other plays with the Siakams and Nemhards and the Nasons.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because, bro, Siakam could go out there and get you 20. Nemhart can go out there and get you 15. But if
Yeah.
Halliburton's only with 5-6 points and he's got like 10 assists, you can't win a game like that. Shea's not putting them type of numbers up.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
it's going to be a good series. I think it's going to go 7 regardless, unless something weird happens and they start getting blown out, which would be fucking crazy. And I can't
Be
imagine
insane.
it happening. But
That would be.
But now moving on to there's a couple things, and they all are related in the fighting world. They announced that the big fight with Canelo and Crawford is going to be on Netflix in September. And also we had a big UFC card this past weekend. I didn't catch the whole card. I watched like the main event basically.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to go to our resident UFC correspondent, Bray Dolas. How did you feel overall about the card, and what stood out to you the most?
Wait. Before you dive into it, can I be like the resident like boxing correspondent?
Sure.
All right. Another UFC pay-per-view comes up and down. The death of boxing is continuing by the week. This UFC pay-per-view I watched from the start of the main card to the main event. One of the better cards they've had recently. I think the biggest takeaway you have 2 big takeaways. That is that Merab is going to be the champ for a very long time at 135 pounds.
Yeah.
That guy, he's got a gas tank like no other. Like, he literally was ragdolling O'Malley that whole round up until a whole round before, and then the whole round up until the tap. And he literally jumps over the cage and starts talking to people like he wasn't like it's just a normal day to him.
Yeah.
And then the other big takeaway, honestly, is Kayla Harrison just dominating Juliana Pena. And then you saw the picture. I'm assuming we've all saw the picture. We've all saw the call out.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison, that seems to be the fight that they're going to go into and build with, which that honestly might be one of the biggest fights in women. That is probably the biggest fight in women's MMA history.
Yeah, at least in recent time. I mean, you can make a case for all time, like you said, but for sure in recent
I say recent time for
years,
sure.
Oh, yeah.
For 100% recent time.
The only thing that would probably be close would be like Nunes and Rousey, like when Nunes and Rousey fought.
Yeah, because that was big at the time. At the time, it was big, though.
Yeah.
Looking back, it's like it's different because people's opinion on Ronda's kind of changed through the years. So
I would have thought Holly Holm Rousey was probably the biggest one.
The biggest upset.
That was the biggest upset.
That one.
Okay.
But the just seeing the fight itself, no one was like, "Oh, she's gonna fight Holly Holm." It's like no one did.
Nobody did their research on Holly Holm. Bro's the nastiest boxer I've ever seen as a female.
People did sleep on her. But it was more kind of like in the eyes of people who didn't know her. It's like Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson.
Yep, it's literally what it was.
But yeah. So Bray, what interests me is you said you started watching from the main card. You don't watch the prelim stuff?
I believe was something on. It was Saturday night. Money in the Bank. I was
Money
watching
in the
Money in the
Bank
Bank.
was on,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. That's right. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was,
yeah.
I was watching Money in the Bank, and conveniently, Money in the Bank ended literally like right at 10 p.m. when UFC was literally starting.
That's the TKO guys are like, hey, cut this shit off. Cut this shit off. We got our shit next. They're right on time. Do you normally watch prelim all the way through?
Typically, I like seeing what's next for the like what they got up and coming. I'm pretty sure on the next card coming up, they just moved a fight down. I can't. They moved Manel Cop and no, Manel Cop's fight got removed. Some fight they moved down. It was a big ranked fight, like number one contender fight. It might have been Joshua Van and Brandon Royval that they moved down, but it was a big fight they moved down to the prelims. I like watching the prelims because it's either you got a lot of newcomers that come in, and you like seeing like there's gonna be some guys like top 10 matchups you get in there. See like who's coming up, who's going to go down in the division.
Yeah.
But if it's like a slow night for the prelims, I might just turn on once it hits the main card.
Did you catch it, Dre? Did you watch any of
Seen a,
the?
I seen a little bit of it, not a lot. I can't remember. Did Kevin Holland win?
Kevin Holland did win.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I thought that's what I saw. But like other than that, I seen the Kayla Harrison and the Marab fight, which bro, I think Sean's gotta move up.
he's
Sean's
got.
gotta move up. He has to. He
Yeah.
can't be 135. That weight cut, he's starting to look like Connor at 145, and it's not looking good, bro. He
No.
has to move up.
Yeah. He needs to do something anyways because like I don't know. I didn't feel like when I watched it, it just he didn't have that same spark. I mean, it's nothing. It's
Mm-mm.
not taking anything away, from uh
Marab.
fucking Marab, but it's the fact that like I've seen him move around a little bit better.
Uh-huh.
You know what I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mean? It just felt like he was flat footed. He just I don't know. Maybe it was like I heard beforehand. Like I think Bray was talking about it in the server that he looks real confident, and all these things. But then
Yeah.
when the fight came, it didn't look like that. And it kind of reminded me of when Tyson would fight. There's a lot of guys talk shit during the press conference. They look real tough, whatever. But then when they walk to the ring, they look kind of nervous, or they stand in there and they're doing the ring announcements. They don't have that same energy now. Now they're looking at the man in front of them, and reality sets in.
It gave me like when, and this is, I don't know if you can take this away, Bray. It literally gave me like when Connor came back and fought Habib. When he came back and fought Khabib, he was not the same fighter. He was trying to play
No,
defense the entire time, and it just doesn't work. And he came in flat foot, and he got starched. And that's literally what happened to Sean O'Malley.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame because he's a good character for UFC because they
Oh my
they like
God,
to have
yeah,
their characters. They like to have guys that have a little bit of a gimmick. The
yeah.
guy does some entertaining Twitch streams sometimes. If people
Yeah.
watch streams, just seeing him on other people's popular streamers
Mhm.
streams, it's pretty cool. So it's like he's a likable guy for sure. He, I think the thing that I thought sucked the most was how they made him wait for his time to be interviewed, and you just see him hanging back, and they're talking to the champ, fucking just saying
Hmm.
all these things, and he just kind of like sitting back there, like I want to go. But he was when they finally interviewed him, he was super humble and just thanked the
Yeah.
fans for sticking around, and that's what you like to see.
Mhm.
So I'm
Hmm.
hoping he does move up. He definitely needs to do that. That weight cut is fucking crazy, and it does, and that probably played a big factor in this too,
Yeah.
because it takes
Cause
a
I,
lot
cause I
out of you.
think I think if I'm not mistaken, he walks around at like 155,
He-
160, bro.
Yeah,
So he's cutting out like 25 to 30 pounds every fight, bro. You're literally hurting yourself doing that. It's
100%.
just water weight coming right off of you.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny because speaking of weight cuts, Kayla Harrison does the same thing. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Kayla Harrison walks around at 160 roughly. I think they say same as O'Malley, and she cuts down to 135
oh.
at fight weight.
Dude, that shit's got my body chilled right now. That just sounds scary.
Cuts
see,
down to 135, and then on Saturday night, I'm pretty sure Kayla was already back up to 160 by the ring.
Oh gosh.
See, and I'm the opposite. Like when we do this podcast, I actually don't cut weight. I just walk around at 280, and then I'm able to do the podcast, so it works. I don't want to cut
I'm
weight
just
to
I'm
do
just
this.
walking around solid 145, 155 right now.
I'm like two Dre's basically.
Basically,
I'm
bro.
like
It's
two
the
Dre's.
diabetes. It's the diabetes. Don't
That's what it is. That's why the
That's what it is.
eyesight's
Damn it.
going, and.
Can't
Uh,
see shit anymore.
so we'll go to our senior boxing correspondent, Bondre. And I know him and I both, and I think Bray agrees with Dre that Canelo's going to get cooked.
Oh,
I don't
getting
see that.
cooked.
I don't
He's
see
getting
that.
crucified.
But that big announcement for Netflix, I mean, I feel like that's the best move. I don't think a lot of people really are buying boxing pay-per-views anymore.
No.
Everything's pretty much, buy it on stream, or, Netflix will just stream it for free and just get insane numbers because people watch it, because just like the Tyson Paul fight did crazy numbers for Netflix. So what do you, I mean, I know what you think. I know what you both think about this fight, but let's just say, first off, how do you feel about the Netflix deal with boxing? Do you think that helps or hurts? And also, what fights, I haven't heard them announce any other like undercard fights. What fights would you like to see on that card? Because that's definitely going to make some stars, because all eyes will be on that pay-per-view.
I don't know who I would like to see right now. I would love to see Errol Spence come back and fight on that card, because his last fight was against Crawford. He got the shit beat out of him. But I would love to see him bounce back from that and show like he's actually got something on his, you know what I'm saying? He's got something to prove. Same with like Jermell Charlo, maybe a little Caleb Plant fight. On top of that, we just lost Vasilio Lomachenko. He is retired. I am very upset about that one. Hurts my fucking soul, because that dude was a stud and he was whooping ass. Hurts. But I'm gonna be totally honest with you. The Netflix deal, it's good because fighters need to get paid, man. These dudes got to get paid. And then these Saudi princes are like, you know what? Come over here. We'll make the best fights. Throw you a chunk of change. Come over here and put your best effort forth. And that's what boxing should be all about. Come in here, fight, get a check, go about your business.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I mean, to be fair, like boxing has always been about the payday for a lot of these fighters, because I mean, to be honest, it has to be that, because you can have the love of the game, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you're getting your head knocked in.
Yeah,
no matter,
you gotta be able to sell that bitch.
Yeah, like no matter how great you are, you're still gonna get punched. You know what I mean? And you could have like some of the best fights are just guys fighting back and forth, you know what I mean? And just knocking the shit out of each other. Look at Evander Holyfield. That motherfucker, when he talks, he's like, I can count the potato. You know what I mean? Like, he's really having a hard time these days. And that's from, some boxers just have that because they got hit in the head so many times through the years.
Yeah.
So that money's got to be right. So that way they could take care of their family, because obviously they can't now. So I really think the exposure with Netflix and having Spencer on would be absolutely like,
it'd be great.
Huge for his career, and just to kind of uplift him. I would even go as far as saying put Wilder on there. You know what I mean?
If I don't, he weirds me out sometimes, right? Because Wilder, he was never a natural boxer. He started boxing when he was 24 years old. So like that's a late start for most boxers. Most boxers start when they're like 8, 9 years old, golden gloves, you know what I'm saying? He's coming in late and he's catching all of these wild KOs, but when he faces actual boxers, they're putting him on his ass. Like it's not like a crazy, like they're knocking him the fuck out. And he's like, he can't even like absorb the hits because all he's doing is just wild haymakers, where if he lands one,
it's a wrap.
You're going to sleep. But if you don't get hit and you can avoid that for like 12, maybe like 4 or 5 rounds where he gasses himself out, you can clean him the fuck up. You can clean Wilder up quick.
Me and my buddy used to argue about Wilder all the time. I always said he was a great fighter, and if he hits you with those fucking wild ass swings, those tough man butterbean fucking swings,
you're going to sleep.
It's fucking night time. But I always told him, I said, he's going to fight a guy who knows how to fight and can just go back and just fucking have his hands in front of his head and just knock him the fuck out. Because every time Wilder gets fucking hit hard, he looks like a silly goose, just fucking flailing around.
He can't absorb punches. He can't absorb them.
I mean, look at the Fury fight. So that's all the evidence, case point evidence you need for that one.
Yeah,
he outclassed them every single fight. Even the first one where it ended up being a draw, it was only a draw because he knocked him down at the end of the round. Other than that, he outboxed that motherfucker for 3 straight fights. Never lost a round. To me, he never lost a round. He dogged Wilder out every single round.
And Tyson Fury is the Edmonton Oilers of boxing. Like, that motherfucker would never die. You could knock that motherfucker down 9 times. Like,
and then he just unretired too. He just unretired after losing to Usyk.
Hey, you know what? Co-main event, Fury Wilder, one last time. Why not?
Fuck it, I'm cool with it. Throw it on there.
Throw it in. Just throw it on.
Hey, you know what? Fuck the Fury Wilder. Let's see Wilder Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua got knocked the fuck out recently too.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things you could put on Netflix that would be really entertaining as like a co-main event, just undercard. Like, and, you know, I would like to see some of the younger guys on there. I think they will, obviously, because that's how
Yeah.
most boxing events are, just like UFC.
Shakur Stevenson.
You know, I mean, you can have some people on there. Bray, what do you think about the Netflix deal? And we'll jump into you know, the fight predictions, which I already know, but you know, put a little facts behind some of the stuff too, both you guys.
I think the Netflix deal it's good, but like as long as we're not having the same issues we were having when we were watching the Tyson fight,
Oh
like
yeah, the glitches. Yeah.
But I mean, we're not getting that
I
during
mean,
Monday Night Raw every week, though. So I think they kind of
but
figured
which
it
is
out.
true. Which
but you
which
have to,
is true.
but you
Which
have to
is
think.
true.
You have to think. Think about how okay, weekly Raw live viewers, you might get 3 mil. You might cap out at 3 mil. This boxing event is gonna have a lot of people watching.
Yeah,
I'm
I
betting the
mean,
house. I'm betting the
yeah,
house.
I think it'll be obviously a lot more, but I don't know. Whatever issue they had, I can't see them having that same shit again.
I
I
don't
think
think
they
so
learned
too
from that.
because they're having the NFL games and other stuff to test out.
Yeah,
I just
Or
got
to
paid.
test it.
I just got paid. You ain't even. I just got paid. I just got the notification how much money I just got.
you better get a lot for all those hours you fucking working.
Oh, that
Shit,
check look
I'd
nice.
hope so. Shit, that's just gonna go all on fucking Indiana tonight.
Nah, it's not. No, it's
Put it
going
all on
on Crawford
Indiana.
months from now.
Exactly.
All on a
Um.
Crawford knockout.
All on Crawford, bro.
So Bray, why do you think Crawford knockout?
I'm not a big. I don't know. I'm just not really a big Canelo guy. I think like Canelo's good. Obviously, he wouldn't have the amount of wins he has on his record if he wasn't good. But I just think like when I watched the Errol Spence fight, like it was like these two guys are the top in their division, and Crawford walks in there, and it's just like that was the other guy that was like at the top with him, and it's like Canelo's older. I mean, Crawford's not a young guy per se, but like Canelo's older. He's more elongated into his career. I think if it goes, there's two ways. If it goes if it's to go to distance, it probably leans Canelo's way just because of that's kind of his style. Is those like long, drawn out decisions. But if it's fast paced, high action, and somebody's gonna hit the floor, it's gonna be Crawford, which I think it will be. I think Crawford's gonna knock him out before the seventh round starts.
Okay. Dre, what do you think that same round, or what do you think? You think
Mm.
1 round KO? He's gonna put him to sleep. Like Andre has
So
no faith in Canelo at all.
let me. I have no faith in Canelo whatsoever, but I'm gonna explain my reasoning.
All
Canelo
right.
is probably one of the greatest boxers ever, but he struggles against counterpunchers. Canelo literally, if you go back and you watch that Floyd Mayweather fight, he was fighting blind the entire time. Floyd's countering everything, and he's just getting quick jabs off, quick hooks, everything. Canelo can't do anything about him. Everybody that Canelo has fought that has been a counter puncher, he struggles against. That's why he struggled against Gennady Golovkin. He is a struggler against counter punchers. The counter punchers know when he's throwing them. And he can't do anything. He can't take his head off the line. He can't stay in the, so it's not going to go well from him. And Crawford is by far the best counterpuncher in boxing today. And it showed against Errol Spence, where he just goes in there, he lets you work. And as much as you want to throw, he's going to throw something fast as soon as you throw something. And it's quick and it's going to knock you back a little bit. It's not going to knock you on your ass, but it's going to tap you in your face. All right, cool. Let me step back a little bit now. And then you got to rethink your whole game plan going up against Crawford because all he's gonna do is wait for you to throw something and counter punch it, and he's gonna knock you fuck out. I think he knocks him out 6 round.
Wow. So
6 round.
kind of what Bray said. He said before the
Yeah.
7. So
I think 6 round because that's when he knocked out Spence, and he was playing with Spence. He played with him for 4.5 rounds. He played with him, just joking, just jab, 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 hook, jab, hook. He played with him. That's what he does with his opponents. He just jabs you out, and there's nothing you could do about it.
I just think here's my thing. Like you what you're saying isn't completely wrong, but at the end of the day, he still found ways to win those fights. The only one that he couldn't was against the greatest defensive fighter of all time, Floyd Mayweather. You know, who'll just let you kind of just do your thing, and you always see Floyd fucking, doing this shit.
He's in the Philly shell.
That whole fucking
Philly shell.
And,
I'm telling you that he hits you with that Philly shell. You just know a left hook is coming, bro. So like when you can't take your head off the center line, off the Philly shell, and you know the left hook is coming, you're gonna struggle against counterpunchers.
Yeah. But like I said, Canelo finds ways to win, and he's fought for a long time. It's not like if you watch a Canelo fight recently, you're like, well, his age is showing. Like he's still
No,
fighting like
no,
he's one of the best in the world still, like right now.
still.
Yeah,
And for him to have a fight with Mayweather, and that's his like only loss, like that's
And
a
that
hell
was,
of a
and bro,
loss
that
to
you gotta
have.
remember that fight was back in 2015. That
Yeah, it
was
was
when he first started. That was his first loss. But to lose like that in that's your first loss. That's a lesson. That's not a loss. That is a lesson against the greatest boxer that ever lived.
yep.
And you have to use that tutelage to your advantage for the rest of your career. And that's why he's had such a successful career, because he learned what happened in that Floyd fight and he bettered himself.
And I agree with Bray. Like Canelo, he does have those long, dragged out fights, decisions, but it's like that's kind of like his style. Like
That's
he can,
champion's advantage. That's
yeah,
champion's
and
advantage, bro.
and
You
he
got
can
to
knock
clean them
people
up.
out, and he can knock
sure.
people out too. So it's like I think there'll be a lot of like getting to know each other the first few rounds. So I don't really think like Crawford's going to go in there and try to knock him out. I think if he
Mm-mm.
has that mentality, he's going to have a surprise, and I think that'll fuck
No,
him up.
and I
I
don't
think
think he will.
no, I think he's too smart of a fighter to do something like that, especially against Canelo. So I think there's going to be a lot of like, just jabbing, figuring each other out, getting to know each other, like I always say. And then when we get into like the third, fourth, fifth round, pace is going to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's a knockout, it's going to have to be like a surprise, clean, like
It's a
clean
hook.
knockout.
I'm telling, it's a counter hook. That's the only way that not. It's never gonna be like a straight up, like a fucking haymaker. It's never gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those where you lean in. It's just like how Ryan Garcia got caught with Javante Davis when he just leaned in and he caught one to the face. That's literally how the knockout is gonna come. It's never gonna be like a straight up Deontay Wilder type strike. It's never
Yeah.
gonna be one of those.
Especially against Canelo, because Canelo
Yeah,
actually
no.
has a strong chin too.
He's got a chin.
He's
He's
not
got
known
one.
to get knocked around and shit. Like you never can
He
look
he
at
could take
highlights.
hella punches. Just to watch
Yeah,
how Triple G and him went at it for 3 fights,
yeah,
bro. They went at it.
Triple G.
Triple G,
Yeah,
baby.
he was that guy for a minute. He was,
Yeah, I'm telling you, dog.
for a little bit.
But Canelo's such a he's such a veteran in the game, bro. Like if you want to hear it from me, bro, I think Canelo's probably like the Steph Curry of boxing, bro. He's been in this bitch for a hot minute. He's taken some L's, but he didn't gave some ass whoopings out. He didn't gave them out. Now he didn't.
Yeah,
He went up against Braun, took the L. Braun is fluid. You want to compare it, but like you got to take them lessons, put them to. And I think Canelo has carved out a great career. Now
yeah,
let's put it this way: if Crawford goes in there, however he wins, Crawford is the best boxer on the planet. There's nothing you can say.
yeah. I mean, who else would be compatible? Like who else would you throw in there? Like who's the same at that level? You beat Canelo. Like not like any like if say if he
Like you
wins
beat Canelo.
if you beat Canelo in a decision and it's not like a debatable one where people are like, they're gonna have to run it back, which they probably might because they're gonna make a shit ton of money. So they probably still, regardless who wins, they still might run it back
Yeah.
Hella money.
because they're not gonna leave all that money.
Dude,
on
I
the
just
table.
seen the purse for that fight. The purse
What
for that fight is $795 million.
what is who gets what?
That's what both of them are gonna get. $795 million each.
No.
Crawford
That's
literally
a,
Crawford he was talking he was on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and that's how much that they're both getting. You gotta remember those Saudi princes are paying for this
I know
out
that
of their
I know
pockets.
I know that those Saudi guys fucking pay that, but let's just call it 800 million. You mean to tell me
Eight hundred million.
they're both getting 800 million each for this fight?
on
All right,
top
so
of
I'm gonna put it in like simplest terms, right? Do you remember when Conor fought Floyd?
Yes.
Conor got 200 million and Floyd got 750 million. That was back in what, 2016? Think about the money now. The money now in boxing
That's
has gone up
crazy.
tremendously. $800 million, bro. You go in there, you could lose, and your family is set forever, bro.
plus, and on top of it, you're gonna get merch, you're gonna get your brand deals. So they might pocket $1 billion. They might.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
They
They're
might.
That's
pocketing a lot.
crazy. I got to look up that number. I just it's so hard to believe that they
I'll
both get.
if I find it later, I'll confirm it and send it to you guys.
I have
All
to
right.
see that because that's crazy
It's
to me.
insane.
Almost $1 billion. Like, I mean, that would have
Just
to
to
be
walk
that would have to be the highest
the highest paid.
paid,
The
right?
highest
Like,
gate ever, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably believe it more
Like,
if it
that's
was like
insane.
that's what they split is 800 million. I feel like that might be the
But
number.
even if they split eight
But
hundred
that's,
million,
I
that's
mean, that's
fucking
still crazy.
nasty.
That's still crazy. But I'm just saying, individually, they're both getting 800 million just for fighting, and then all the other shit on top of it, getting almost a billion each. That's fucking wild. I don't know. All right, so we'll definitely talk more about it. We still got a lot of months in between now and September. Hopefully, everything goes good
Oh
in their
yeah.
camps. No one gets hurt. Everything's good. Hopefully, they add some great fights to the card. That would be outstanding because, I know Bray hates, boxing for the most part. Says it's dying. Um,
Terrible.
and it's terrible. But boxing is known to have at least two big fights a year for
A
the
year.
most part. You're going to get two mega fights a year. And I think that's what most fans love and why we love it so much because there's still those guys out there that can pull out bangers. And this is one of them.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot anymore. There's not really like that many to pick and choose from unless new stars show up. And we're not talking about like
Yeah.
influencer fights or anything with Jake Paul or, digging up Buster Douglas to have him fight Jake Paul or anything like that. Just big name people. And this is as good as it's going to get for right now.
Yeah,
So
this is what like when you call competition out, bro, and this is like, bro, these are the two best boxers on the face of this planet going at each other. No beef, no disrespect. It's just two men going in there to clash and see who's the best, who comes out on top. You don't get no bigger than this, man.
it's
You don't
just
get
it's
no bigger.
just it's just clean. You know what I mean? Like
Clean,
everything
bro.
about it is good. And I'm sure there'll be a little bit of trash talk, but
Oh yeah.
the thing is like with Canelo, like he's never been a guy that just like shits on anyone. And Crawford's
No.
just like
Not a, he's not a trash
he's like
talker.
a solid fucking fighter and he has a great resume. And
Yeah.
he's one of the most exciting guys to watch fight. So when you look at up and down like the boxing fucking rosters for each weight class, what other fight could you even come up with that would be even close to this in boxing?
Tank versus Inoue.
Yeah, it's got to be like Tank versus somebody else. Well, he drew against Lamont Roach, so like they have to
Oh
run
yeah,
that back
yeah.
regardless. Like that has to be run
Yeah.
back.
That's got to be run back. But I've been wanting that Inoue fight between Tank and Inoue for a long time. That cross division for those belts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I kind of want to see Tiafimo fight again, man. I love Tiafimo Lopez. He's one of them little nasty little fucking southpaws, man. I like him. Nice.
What's a comparable UFC one for you, Bray? What would you like to see that would be like the big fight? Like holy fuck,
Aspinall Jones. There's nothing else. There's nothing else.
There's one answer.
That's the only. And I'm a John Jones diehard fan.
It is.
Diehard.
Yeah.
So this
like he has to fight him. If he doesn't fight him, just give it up.
So I asked that question because I wanted to, me, I like my little smooth segues because I wanted to have
like
a little bit of a hot take Tuesday. And Bray and I were talking about, John Jones. And Bray brought up that John Jones isn't top 5. That's correct, Bray? You said he's not top 5 all time, right?
Not top 5.
Not top 5 all time. And brought up one of his fights, which was against Reyes. And he watched it. I watched it. And we both, judged it in real time. I came up with a draw. Bray had Reyes winning by a point. So, Bray, would you like to expand a little bit on that? So that way, Dre, who just said right now that he's the biggest John Jones fan, this is almost like a preview of Stand on Business right now. This is kind of how it would
be. Look, I get it. The John Jones fans really love John Jones. I personally have never got behind John Jones.
Giggity.
I never think he's that. I never really think he's that good. And and this lengthy, drawn out wait just to sign a paper to get your ass beat by a guy who's younger, better, and faster than you. Like you're gonna get paid. I mean, you're gonna get paid. You're gonna be hit on the canvas, and you're gonna wake up and you're gonna see the check, and you're like, oh, that was worth it. But you've lost your legacy. I mean, I just think of guys like. I personally think Islam Makhachev has a better resume than John Jones. Volk twice dominantly. Oliveira. That's 3 fights alone. I mean, what? Jones fought a Stipe that was 4 years removed from his last fight. did coke before fighting Daniel Cormier,
That's
and
true.
has a questionable decision against Dominic Reyes on his belt. Like what? Like his best realistic win would be like Gustafson or Rampage Jackson.
What?
He beat Rashad Evans
Are
too.
you insane? Are you serious? Wait, all right. So let me go down the list, right? Let me just go down the list, right? Do you know that his only real loss was because he was elbowing a dude 6-12? That's
It
his
was a
only
DQ.
real loss, and then because he did cocaine. You like just hear that, right? He only lost because he did cocaine and because he elbowed a guy 6-12.
Yeah, he got
The
DQ'd
only the
for
only
people
I
who don't know.
the Reyes fight, the Reyes fight, I would go with Server on that one. Not say it's a draw. I don't think John won, and I think but in UFC, champions advantage. You
Yeah,
have to knock him out. You
That
have to.
third round is
Me
what
and you
it's
made
both
it.
know
either
that, bro.
The third round, when I watched the fight, Reyes clearly won the first two. Bone Jones
Hmm.
won 4 and 5, clearly. The third round is the one where I judged it as a draw because it went like
Yeah.
Reyes did really well, but you could tell he was slowing down where John
Hmm.
just fucking he just was picking up the pace during that
Yeah.
time.
Like,
So
all
that's
right,
when
but
he
like
started cooking.
when you really start digging deep into like John's resume though, bro, you gotta remember, bro, he beat Vitor Belfort on TRT, who was juicing every single fight.
Yeah,
He
Belfort.
literally broke
Belfort was
John's arm with an armbar mid-match. John popped it back into place, continues to beat him, and knocks him out. Then he goes and chokes Lyoto Machida unconscious, standing up.
I remember that
Like
fight.
we
That was a good fight.
we're forgetting that. Like DC is a Olympic level wrestler. John has taken him down six
well,
times.
he had to cheat to get there.
Bray, if I all right, so Bray, if me and you, I'm not. This is just hypothetically speaking. If I do a line of cocaine, but I go up and knock you the fuck out, is it any different if I don't do a line of cocaine and knock you out?
Well, you're not knocking me out if you don't do the line of cocaine.
So you think that John Jones wouldn't have beat him if he didn't do cocaine?
It's a high possibility.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, DC got action. Like it wasn't
He
like
do, yeah, but
When
DC's probably one of the best strikers to ever come in light heavyweight and heavyweight.
so
when DC was
if you have a little bit of an advantage going against that guy, then obviously like he has an advantage. But to say like, well, if he does a line of cocaine, I don't necessarily think the cocaine is really making the
Yeah,
difference in the
I
fight.
don't think so.
Anyways, I think the result would still be the same. But he's also done other shit that fucked him up too, not
yeah
just cocaine.
he
Yeah.
he what did he do?
He had
He
some
ran.
performance enhancing shit that
Yeah,
he
Yeah,
did.
they said he took a rhino pill, gas
Something.
station rhino pill, and it had some type of supplement in it
yeah,
that was like
a
against USADA and
PED,
shit like that.
Yeah.
PED of some sort. He rammed his car into the back of a pregnant lady's vehicle one time
Yeah,
and
that
ran away from the scene.
outside of this, I would say that's probably his biggest downfall was the hit and
Yeah,
run on that pregnant lady for sure, bro.
Let me
That
let
was
me
bad.
let me ask Bray this question. Let me ask you this question, Bray.
what's up?
Do you think if let's just say hypothetically, the last few fights where he wasn't on coke or he didn't have his wins kind of taken back or whatever, like if those things didn't happen, would you still have the same opinion of him as not being top five? Because for me personally, like all that shit happening makes me look at him
Yeah,
differently as a
yeah.
fighter overall.
You-
Even though I felt like Noah, like I felt like he's literally like one of the best we've ever seen,
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
down.
I mean, you just look at it differently. You know what I mean? Like the wins don't seem as meaningful as they do. And I don't. The Stipe fight, it just doesn't. That Stipe fight doesn't even matter to his resume. It shouldn't even count. Stipe was 3 years removed from getting his ass whooped by Ngannou twice at the heavyweight level.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
And let's be honest, Cyril Gane, like, come on now, like John Jones literally put him in like the basic of most basic guillotines and like was just in like 5 seconds and Cyril Gane just tapped. But I think the way that I would look at Jones a lot differently and like put him up there on that pedestal that a lot of people like to put him on. He'd have to sign on and beat Tom Aspinall. If
No,
he
they
if he
beats
does
if he beats Tom Aspinall, he's your goat.
He's not. I don't know if he's the GOAT because
Would
there's
he
still
be top
some.
five? Would he be top five then?
Yeah, he'd be top five, but you're gonna have Islam later this year who's going for his double champ status. And I think because I think Islam's resume is fucking impeccable. Like just Volk twice in Oliveira is insane. I honestly think we're still a bit of ways away from it, but Marab's on his way up there. Um, if Pereira could get back going on his train, he'd be up there. But like I still think like GSP, Anderson Silva. I
But these are dudes that got knocked out.
You
These
have
are
to
dudes that
throw
got
up.
knocked
You have
out.
to throw in who I think is the most underrated UFC fighter of all time, Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse is.
Mighty Mouse is If there's anybody in
cool.
my eyes better than John Jones, it's only Mighty Mouse. That's the
Yeah.
only person I could ever say would ever be comparable to. Because I believe Khabib retiring at 29-0, cool. It was only about
Fabricated
good
record.
6 fights in there.
Yeah,
It was only
it's a
good
fabric-
6 fights. Everybody else was amateur fights. That
Yeah,
I couldn't care less about that
It's
career.
it's a fabricated record that has
Yeah.
like 22 fights where his opponent was like 2-6.
Yeah, they're all fucking amateurs. And then he just moves up one day, fights Michael Johnson, and then he goes on like this crazy run and knocking all these other people out and choking them out and shit. But like other than that, it's hard to say who's better than John Jones and Mighty Mouse. Makachev, great. I do believe he is going to be great too. Same thing with Pereira. I think he's going to be great. And maybe at the end of his career, I think Stylebender will probably be one of the greatest too.
Well, I think Izzy should have stopped while he was ahead. Because like
It's hard though. It's hard for those dudes to stop when they're ahead because they got so much momentum.
yeah, but then like you lose the Strickland fight and you look the way you looked in the Strickland fight. And then he lost to DDP, right? That was one of the matches.
Yeah, that was probably his like worst loss to me.
Yeah.
Even him losing to Pereira wasn't that bad,
Well, no,
but him
it wasn't.
losing to Duplessis was rough to watch.
And Pereira wasn't bad because he ended up beating Pereira with a fucking nasty ass knockout, anyways.
Do you think that UFC is actually the toughest to pick like who the GOAT is?
Yeah, you'd have to go by weight class.
Like, yeah, you got to go weight class.
Yeah, because you
UFC
can't just say
literally
one person beats everybody at just weight class. Yeah, because I think boxing is pretty cut and dry on who like the best. You know, you can kind of narrow it down, but I'm
Because some people will look at us and like when we start talking goats and we start saying heavyweight, they'll fuck around and throw Randy Couture in there.
Yeah.
They'll throw Brock Lesnar in there. They'll throw Frank Mir in there. They'll throw those other dudes in there. You know, Kevin Random and all of those guys.
Velasquez.
Kane was a dog though, bro. He was. Before Ngannou put hands on him, Kane was cleaning that shit up.
And from what I was reading, is that they are in talks of Ngannou potentially coming back to the UFC. And I think if John, like, ultimately, I think
that's what John wants. John wants to fight Ngannou.
And
he said it.
I get that, but you're literally holding up a division because you have an interim champion there. Mm-hmm. You're the champ. You're able to defend. It's not like Jones is hurt. Like if Jones was hurt with like an injury, I'd understand it. But he's literally just sitting on the sideline, refusing to fight for whatever reason. When there's a guy literally waiting for you to fight, so this division could move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing too. Like when you get as big as John gets, is that you're gonna really fucking pick and choose who the next one is because it's not like he's gonna keep going and just being like, he
doesn't have it in him to be a workhorse anymore. No. Like he just wants the big money draws. That's because it's the end of his career, man.
He's not wasting time.
And I think if Dana and if they are smart, bro, give him $30 million. Give him 30 mil or whatever he's asking for, because you're gonna make money off of Jones and Aspinall pay-per-view alone.
Yeah.
You're gonna make your money's back and probably way more off ticket sales.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I was looking at ticket prices because they're coming to Chicago or whatever. UFC ticket prices are fucking ridiculous. Yeah. They're like $700 for nosebleeds.
Hey, that's that TKO, right?
Yeah, shout out TKO, progressively making it more and more less affordable for the casual fan.
There you go.
That's why I'm gonna just watch Peacock.
Yep, shout out to him.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end it. And I'm looking forward to whatever John Jones does, because no matter what, I like to see him kind of like redeem himself. And I think this is he's waiting. He wants the perfect fight, and he wants to win in decisive fashion.
Yeah.
Can't even fucking talk. But I think that's kind of plays a part in it. You know what I mean? Not just like waiting and holding people up. I just think that he's wanting that one fight that makes sense for him, that the fans will fuck with, and he just goes out there and just handles business. But he better not get knocked out.
He better not
get knocked out. We got different conversations for the next one. But thank you guys for being here. And again, everybody, sorry that DR couldn't make it. He's still sitting in traffic right now, I'm assuming.
Oh my God, that's insane.
No, I'm just joking. I have no idea what he's doing. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Check us out next week. Dig all the socials. It'll all be in the description below. Have a good rest of your day. See you next week.